So today we are going to study about basic of geometry. Where do you think geometry starts from? So this here is a dot. This here is a dot, and dot is not a point. Chemistry begins from the concept of chemistry begins when you start to understand the concept of point. And concept of point is a very mysterious thing. Why I am saying so? This is not a point. This is a dot, which is representing a point. We can name this dot anything we want. We can name this dot A if we want. If we want, we can name this dot B. If we want, we can name this dot a C. But I am simply naming this dot A. So mathematicians say about this that this dot represents a point, and point is dimensionless. It neither has length nor breadth nor thickness. So point is a dimensionless quantity. It is represented by a point, and it has no length, no breadth, no thickness. So if someone asks you what's the dimension of a point, then dimension of point is multiplied after 0. So now coming to the next geometrical figure. What happens if we put point beside point, point beside point, point beside point, point beside point, point beside point on this side, and also point beside point, point beside point, point beside point on that side, without leaving any gap in between? So what we are going to get is a collection of point, and that collection of point will go endlessly in both directions. So if this was a point which was dimensionless, when we put points side by side on both direction, and when it went infinity in both direction, then what is made is called not line. But you have to remember one thing about line. If this is a line, we can name this line AB. So what is a line? Line is a collection of points going endlessly in both direction. But you have to remember that a line is infinite. This here is not line. This is just representing a line. We can name this line as line AB, and we have to put this symbol here to show that this is not the part of a line, but a line. So now coming to the next thing. If we take, and one more thing, line neither has beginning nor end. And line is only one dimension, and that dimension is like a length. So if we take apart from that line, which is starting, as well as any point, let the starting point be A and let any point be B, then that in geometry is called line segment. So what's the difference between a line and a line segment? Line has no starting point, line has no ending point, and line segment has a starting point and an ending point. Line segment is just a part of line. Commonly, we don't differentiate between line segment and line. And there is no problem if you don't differentiate between line and line segment if you're not studying geometry, if you're not studying maths, if you're not studying science. But when you're studying science, we have to differentiate between line and line segment. So line is a collection of points which is going endlessly in both directions. Line is only one dimension, which is length. And line segment is the part of that line which is starting and ending point. So now coming to the next question. What happens if something has a starting point, if a collection of point has a starting point, but no ending point? So if a collection of point has starting point but no ending point, then that collection of point is called ray. So as we named dot A, as we name line AB, as we name line segment AB as line segment AB, so we have to name ray. We have to give a name to ray also. So this can be called as ray AB, and ray B is shown like this. So what happens when two ray combines together? When two rays meet at a point, that point is called vertex, and what is made by that? When two rays meet together, they make an angle. So this ray, let's call this ray OA, and let's call this ray OB. So it is an angle, and the name of this angle is OA. You can call this angle AOB, or you can also call this angle BOA. So it's fine, I think. So now angle has different types.